Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're jumping a little bit off of the regular module path and focusing on the SOC simulator. It's 80% of the actual exam test score, so we're gonna spend a little bit of time going through the scenarios. In this video specifically, we're going to go through this first scenario that's called Introduction to Phishing. We're gonna run through it. I'm gonna try my best at it. I have done this one before and I didn't get a great grade due to the notes that I put in the alerts. So hopefully going to get a little bit of a better grade on that, but we'll see. The main reason for doing this is not a lot of people have access to the SOC simulator in the actual premium subscription. I believe you only get one of these scenarios. If you're on an enterprise license like I am, you get access to the rest of this. So figure that's actual useful content to get people exposure to kind of what the exam is mainly structured like, see what the tool is like, because I'm assuming there's not many videos going through it. If there are, sweet. If not, hey, here's another one. So we're going to go ahead and start this up. Introduction to Phishing. So learn how to use the SOC simulator by completing your first scenario. Close all true positive alerts to pass. So scenario objectives, monitor and analyze real-time alerts. We are going to identify and document critical events such as suspicious emails and attachments and create detailed case reports based on your observations to help your team understand the full scope of alerts and malicious activities. So essentially being a regular SOC analyst, we're going to be looking into, you know, alerts that are coming from Splunk. That's our SIEM that we're using in this instance. As you can see, it says connecting to SIEM, booting up the VMs. In the SOC simulator, depending on the different scenarios, different tools are available. They will give you everything that you need to succeed in the actual module here. In this instance, I'm not sure if in the exam, if you're supposed to also open up additional, tabs in your browser and start doing Google searches to assist you or not. Typically, if you are in a SOC environment, you kind of use everything that you can. Your team will have the tools set up in the preferred things, that if your shop doesn't use Splunk, it's not, you're not going to be using Splunk. You need to configure that and everything. But here's our dashboard. So this is a regular SIEM looking dashboard. We have total alerts, close alerts. Then we have these metrics and whatnot and alert types. We have the alert queue, which has nothing right now. We have our SIEM, which should, once you click on it, it will start to load up Splunk there. We have an analyst VM. I'm going to open that up in a separate tab so that can start up. So this is going to be a VM. We're going to go into documentation, read what it says here. So this documentation serves as a comprehensive guide for our SOC MSSP for our newly onboarded client. It is designed to provide you with the necessary resources and protocols to maintain a secure and efficient operational environment tailored specifically to meet the security needs of our client. We encourage all team members to familiarize themselves with the contents of this documentation. Let's see. Note, as we embark on the new journey with our client, it's important to note that the environment is not yet fully integrated. All right. So that's fairly important. While we are in the process of enhancing our capabilities and tool set to best serve the client's security needs, analysts are advised to utilize the existing resources to the best of their ability. Your adaptability, resourcefulness, and proactive approach in addressing security incidents are key during this transition period. So that's from the SOC head. So that's saying the SIEM is not perfectly configured yet. And that's something that you will see in the workplace. As new threats and new intel come down, the SIEM alerts typically they will need to be audited and will need to be tweaked. So, hey, this alert that constantly comes up, it's a false positive. Let's tune it out. Or, you get intel about a new couple indicators. You might need to then create alerts to generate off of those. So while we're reading that, the alert queue did get this, so that means that we do have an alert there. We're not going to jump over there just yet. We're going to continue reading through the documentation, just see what other type of information we can attain. So our company information, TryHackMe is one of the fastest growing companies within the e-commerce industry, specializing in the online sale of hats. Our unique value proposition, which allows customers to virtually try on hats before purchasing, has distinguished us in the market and driven rapid growth. So from this, we know we are part of an MSSP that is providing services for TryHackMe, which is an e-commerce website specifically tailoring in hats. So we know this is a phishing simulation. There's probably going to be something regarding e-commerce, probably about the topic of hats, because that's our business. So it shouldn't be too crazy to get random emails about hat related subjects. All right. And then we have this directory, which is pretty useful. So it has name, title, emails, and that user's workstation. So Win3450 is for the CEO. Looks like we have a CEO, HR, legal, marketing, IT, sales. So majority of the staff is sales. We're not a very big business. And Yanni right here is our one IT person, and they're on 3449. So if I'm thinking of a small enterprise, if anybody's doing anything with elevated privileges, it's going to be Yanni. All right. Tool documentation. So here you'll find an overview of the primary tools currently at your disposal for monitoring, investigating, and responding to security incidents. We have security information and event management. So your SIEM. All right, so it's our central tool for aggregating and analyzing security logs and events from various sources. It plays a crucial role in our ability to detect and respond to security incidents, which we'll get to. I know we're we're not quite paying attention to the alert queue. We'll get there. All right, I just want to see all the rules and everything that's associated with it first. So the ingestion sources. So we have inbound, outbound, and intra-org emails. We have sysmon logs and PowerShell logs. All right. The current set of ingest source within our team is limited to the logs mentioned above. We're actively working on expanding these sources to provide you with a more comprehensive view of our security landscape. So for the scope of this simulation, we only have these logs. So it's not a lot, but it's information. All right. Then we have an analyst workstation. So the analyst workstation is a dedicated VM specifically configured for your investigation needs. This isolated environment ensures a secure and controlled setting for analyzing and responding to potential threats. All right. So the functions, we have an email alert review. So we can view and analyze email attachments. That's cool. Attachments for emails are automatically downloaded to the desktop for ease of access. And we have system access. So utilize various installed applications and utilities to support your investigation and incident response activities. Cool. Finally, we have alert triage. So this page outlines a step for the SOC analysts to effectively manage, investigate, and resolve alerts within the SOC dashboards. So it's essentially given us these are the steps we should be following for each one of these alerts. So initial alert review. So we access the SOC dashboard to review the new alerts. So that was that first area that we were in. We prioritize alerts. So assess the severity and prioritize each of the alerts based on the SOC predefined criteria. So critical, high, medium, low. So if we have a page with 50 lows and 2 mediums and 1 critical, we shouldn't spend our time on 50 lows. We should go and address the critical at hand. So prioritize based on the predefined criteria. We don't have to go in and make our own um, severity matrix or whatever. It's going to do that for us. So we need the initial investigation. So review alert details. So look at the information provided in alert, such as source IP, destination IP, and any associated indicators of compromise, known as IOCs. And then we investigate in the scene, which is Splunk. So if the information in the SOC dashboard is insufficient, go to Splunk. Query the related logs, so perform searches and queries to gather more comprehensive details about the alert. Check logs for any unusual or suspicious activity tied to the alert. And then correlation and validation, so correlate the event data with other sources to validate the credibility of the alert. Notes on handling email alerts. use the VM to review email alerts because they will download attachments and then analyze the attachments, use sandboxing techniques if necessary to safely handle potentially dangerous files. All right. And then we have resolution and closure. So assign the resolution category. So is it false positive, true positive? Is it resolved? Close the ticket. So ensure all documentation is accurately documented for future reference. So we have all of our documentation. We don't have a lot of tools here. We really don't. We have Wireshark, PowerShell, and the attachments piece that was in the VM. We have Splunk set up here. Right now we have 35 events. Yeah, we're boom. Single event collector is configured. And if you notice, that count went from 35 to 36. Things are still rolling through. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's look at these alerts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 alerts already. We have suspicious emails from the domain. All these are low, so I'm going to prioritize them in the time that they came in first, so bottom up. So we have a suspicious email from an external domain. We're going to click on it, the description. A suspicious email was received from an external sender with an unusual top-level domain. Note from the socket, this detection rule still needs fine-tuning. So we don't, the socket is telling us, don't trust this 100%. It might just be false. Like it might just be a false positive here. So the data source is from emails. The timestamp, cool, is at 4:02 p.m. The subject, do you want a free trip to Hat Wonderland? Click here to claim. It's slightly fishy. It's telling us to claim stuff. It is about hats though. Our industry is about hats. The sender is Boone at hatventuresworldwide.online. The recipient is Miguel O'Donnell at TryHackMe.com. No attachments. The contents of this email have been removed in accordance with privacy regulations and company security policies to protect sensitive information. So there is, we can't see the contents of the email. There's no attachments on it. We know that this is tripping up from an unusual top level domain, and that's about it. All right. So our scene really isn't going to give us too much more because the connectors are not configured for that. Like our data sources, pretty much this is what we got to go off of. So one thing that we can do is we can try to see if anything's up with this sender right here. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and do, let's see, virus total. For domain. All right, so when we look at this in virus total, 1 out of 94 says it's malicious and it's Fortinet. The rest say it's all clean, it's all clean. We can go to community. People are saying TryHackMe brought here, TryHackMe. So people left in the comments, this seems to be a TryHackMe related one. Because it's community score, or it's 1 out of 94 and it's not a whole bunch, we're gonna go ahead and say that this is a false positive. So let me go ahead and sign this out to me. It comes up here. We're gonna write a case report, false positive. Write the case report. All right. This is the most important piece of working in the SOC simulator, is writing up a sufficient, I guess, closure rationale. The thing is scoring wise, your true positive one it's worth so much more than the false positive ones. All right. So spend time, write a good explanation as to why you're closing this. However, if you are prioritizing your time, spend more time on the actual true positives. All right. So what we're going to say is the alert ID 1000 was found to be a false positive. The sender domain was found to be not malicious due when analyzing with virus total, let's see, where are we putting here? I want the little note from the sock head saying that it's not properly configured. The note from the sock had mentioned the alert rule is not fully configured, suggesting that the alert gets suggesting that let me scroll up because my head's probably going to be down here or something. So let me make sure that I'm actually typing stuff. I really need to turn off this Grammarly thing. But the alert ID was found to be a false positive. The sender domain was not found to be malicious. Analyzing with virus total. The note from the socket mentioned the alert rule is not fully configured, suggesting that the alert gets tuned to properly, I guess, to properly accommodate .online top level domains. No, it's tuned to properly whitelist Hat Ventures Worldwide .online domain as they appear to be a legitimate business partner. All right. Oh my, I do not like this plugin at all. So when you're writing this, you kind of want to go over let me scroll up. Who, what, where, when, why, how. All right. If you address all those, who, what, why, when, where, how, and then include steps to further assist, you're golden. You're good to go. I'm not going to do that for all these false positives. We're going to spend more time on the actual true positives. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and close that. Still, all these are low, so let's go to the next one. And you're going to see a trend in a lot of these. All right, so a suspicious email was received from an external sender with an usual top level domain. It's the same alert. This one is from Chick McHenry Designed ID. All right, first off, let me go ahead and open up Notepad. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm copying and pasting what I just put for the case notes so that I can edit it for all the similar ones. So what we're going to do here, again, we have no attachment. The content is removed. We know it's inbound. It went to Michelle. VIP hat resort stay. Your dream vacation awaits. Just pay shipping. Seems to be spammy, but nothing too ridiculous. And this is from .de top level domain. So what's that, Germany? So hey, let's go ahead and put that into virus total. What do we got? Hey, it's safe. The community TryHackMe brought us here. So same exact thing. Let's go ahead and grab this. We are going to write our case report, false positive. I'm grabbing this, I'm pasting it, I'm changing that server domain. We are grabbing now this right here. Boom. And I'm submitting, closing it. So you just change the relevant details. So here we go with a suspicious parent-child relationship. Remember, we're still all on those here, so just going from bottom up. A suspicious process with an uncommon parent-child relationship was detected in your environment. So it's come from Sysmon. Um, it was at 4:05 p.m. Taskhost.exe is going. It's doing NGC key pregen. We can go ahead and hop over in Splunk to see if there is anything related to this process. So let's go we're going to copy and paste these PIDs. Alrighty, so let's go into Splunk. Process ID, we have 38. All right, well, let's go ahead and do process ID. Come on. I don't see the ones that we're looking for, which is 3897 as well as that. So let's do process ID. Is that how they did it? No, process PID equals 3897. So let's see what that just gave us. Okay. Nothing for that either. 0 of 1 event matched. That's fun. 1 hour window. We're going to change this date range to all time. We're going to go ahead and search on it. Server error. It did not like that. That's fine. All right. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Sometimes I hate Splunk. And that's just because I'm not the best at Splunk. That's really what it is. All right. So what time was that? That was at 16:05 from Tassos. So maybe we can just look from this exe right here. All right. So process name, task host. Here we go. All right. So we see it's in system 32 as it's supposed to. All right. SCV host. All right. Like we can look at, like, you can Google this if you don't know what's going on here. So let's just do, so Tassos is not a virus. Yep. NGC pregen is a related task for task scheduler. So we can dive into that saying, okay, task scheduler is doing stuff, which, all right, there, it's low, nothing too crazy is going on here. Yes, the alert's supposed to go off. Like, we can look at other events right around it. However, we're not going to get too much just based on what ingestion sources were identified. Because remember, we have Sysmon, we got the inbound, outbound, inner emails, and I forgot the other one. But we're not going to get too much information, in all honesty, from here. I mean, we now have 87 events, which is great. So it's been going up. But again, our data sources are just email and Sysmon, and we can go into these Sysmon ones real quick. So up here, it looks like we have a pending invoice, pending invoice. We're going to scroll more. So all this is pending invoice stuff. What time were we looking at? We're looking at 4:05. So we're going to go a little bit further back. So we're at 4:05, and you can see this is what it was talking about. So here's that pre-gen and smart screens going off. Okay, like, let's see, the host. We don't even have a host name here. This one, we know it's on 3454. This one's 3451. They're running Outlook. All right. Registry event. Okay, current controls, friendly name, friendly name. All right. I'm not seeing anything that's jumping out at me as a malicious process. So let's go ahead and grab this. Write a case report, false positive. So again, the alert ID, where are we on? 112 regarding a suspicious parent-child relationship was found to be a false positive. There was no malicious activity observed around the time of task host exe executing being alert to be tuned to actually I'm recommending the alert I'm hold on recommending seem to involve further ingest sources to adequately dig deeper into alerts such as this. Boom. Okay, so like you can go into even further saying like the research that we so the Google search. This is related to task scheduler. So this activity is typically related to task related events. Boom. All right, so submit close. Alrighty. So reply to suspicious email. This is a different one. So an employee replied to a suspicious sender with unusual top-level domain. Note from the socket, this detection rule still needs fine-tuning. So again, another one with this bad tuning that we need to think about. So this top-level domain is we're sending from support at TryHackMe to Warner at Yahoo. There's no attachment. We can't see the content. Yahoo.com is a legitimate domain. It just is. So, I mean, there might be a bad, actor on the other side of Yahoo. Um, Typically, the name will be a little, I'm not saying business partners cannot be compromised. If you are in a SOC role, please do a little bit more investigation and due diligence, but just based on the tools that we have in this scene. The other exercises, other SOC simulation exercise, I've only done one other one. It will give you more. It will give you more ingest sources. It will give you more, you know, here's essentially virus total, you can upload documents and things like that. So in this particular instance, in this simulation, working with what we got, we can't see the contents of the email. We're not going to see if they clicked. Alrighty, like the only way you're going to see they explicitly click on something from an attachment is if then that attachment actually gets ran. All right, but we're not going to see if they clicked on an email to jump to a hyperlink, and then they're all this additional relayed activity from that, not from the sources that we have currently set up for this simulation. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I'm going with here. I'm not going to go down this wild, goose chase on a false positive. True positive, yes. False positive, no. So the alert ID, the sender is not boom. So the sender domain is from yahoo.com, which is a legitimate source. So we are recommending that. We're closing. Alrighty. Next up, suspicious attachment found in an email. So this is a good one. This we can actually look up. All right, so a suspicious attachment was found in the email. Investigate further to determine if it's malicious. So the email, the source is emails. It came in at 4:08. The subject, force update fix. That can be suspicious. The sender is Yanni at tryhackme.com, going to Michelle at tryhackme.com. If you remember in our documentation, Yanni was the IT guy. All right. The attachment is forceupdate.ps1. We can't see what the content is. We know it's internal. So you have the IT staff sending a PowerShell script to Michelle, and the subject is, hey, go force update fix. So that's we can dig into this. All right, it's kind of what I'm getting at. So if you remember, our VM is set up for attachments, and this has an attachment, and it's this force update one. So we are going to open this with Notepad, just because we don't have a better IDE on this VM. All right, and it might take a moment to open up, but we're gonna take a look at this PowerShell script to see if it's malicious or not. Just because it went from an internal person to an internal person does not mean that it's safe. People can be compromised. People can send malicious things unknowingly, or hopefully it's not an insider threat where they are sending it out willingly. Okay, so smart screen popped up because it's saying, "Hey, do you really want to run PowerShell?" Um, yeah, we do. So Notepad. Let's go and see what Yanni sent. So we have these commented. So synopsis: this script was crafted by the one and only Yanni Zubar from IT. Contact him at his email address for all your tech needs. So the script automates Windows updates and perform various system diags for troubleshooting. The journey files are saved in the output file and can be sent via email if needed. So he did send this through email, like not the generated part, but he's sending it to Michelle to run on his computer. If we're reading this right, it can potentially send him an email back. So if we have another alert regarding random logs being sent, it's probably from this. So notes, boom. Let's see, we have right host. So Green Tech Warriors, alrighty. Yep, just doing mess. Text is going starting Windows update and system diagnostics, foreground color. That's fine. So we're installing and importing the Windows Update module. That is a legitimate module. We're identifying the scope of current user and we're forcing it. Import module PS Windows Update. That looks good. Next, write hosts. Installing all available updates. So that's what they're going to see. And we're running install Windows updates. You're accepting all auto reboot. So the machine might reboot with it. We're running the host Windows Update complete. All right. Then we have these different system diag um, setups for logging stuff. So he's saying the path is in the temp folder, so ctemp. If not, make one. All right, that's fine. Make this folder. Collecting the system information. So he's collecting system information, and it is getting computer info. So that's the PowerShell command that he's going to get, and that's writing to a text file called systeminfo.txt. Next, he's getting network info, doing ipconfig all, writing to txt network config. So this looks legitimate. Install programs, collect running resources, and then, hey, this is good to go. And then it gets emailed to Yanni, all right, with the attachments of each one of those txt files. So Yanni sent a regular PowerShell script to a user as IT staff to update their systems and then get related logs so that he can see what's going on there. So this is good to go. It's a false positive. All right, so alert ID, where are we on? 1004 regarding a suspicious PowerShell attachment sent via internal email from Yanni to Michelle is a legitimate. If I could spell, that would be great. Whatever. I'm just saying legit, so too legit to quit. All right. So it is a legitimate attachment. The PowerShell script runs Windows update related commands to update the workstation and collect device health logs that will be emailed internally to Yanni. We can put times, we can put more. Again, this is not a true positive. Don't kill yourself making these false positive ones. You are on a timer in the actual exam. You have 2 hours to do one run through of SOC Simulator event, and then you have another 2 hours to do another one. Another thing to think about is what it's actually asking us. We get points for properly identifying things. However, this room, it specifically told us to close the true positives. So even though we're going through here, we're doing these false positives because everything's a low right now. I haven't seen a medium, I haven't seen a high, so I am just going bottom up. But this will continue to go on until we address the true positives. So this one, reply to suspicious email. So again, this is one with an unusual top level domain. This is going to Gmail. All right, like it's Gmail. We can't, there's no attachment, there's nothing like that. So again, we're just gonna, you'll see this in the SOC Simulator stuff where you're going to get a lot of the same, the same alerts, just with a little bit different. And unfortunately, what can happen from that is if you get one wrong, you're probably going to get the others wrong. And if you get one right, you're probably going to get the others right. But the good thing is it's not a huge portion of the actual scoring of it. A lot of majority of your scoring is coming from the true positives and what you write up on. Like I'm saying, this closure rationale. You'll see the difference when we get to a true positive of how much additional information we're going to be putting in there. So, so the siren domain is found to be not malicious as it is Gmail. um, recommending we do whitelist Eileen. Oh, Eileen at gmail.com. And not the entire domain there, just Eileen. Alrighty. Next up. So if you're wondering how we'll grade you, it's through AI, which is slightly annoying, but it is. So this one. This one's from DE. Again, no attachment, no anything. It's spam, but it's not malicious. All right. Write the case report, false positive. We're going through, we're doing this, we're copying. So this is 1006. We can go and put this through TryHackMe or through VirusTotal. Like if we want, oh, we already did this. Yeah, so what you can do in this case, so again, we are gonna put this domain, boom. We're gonna tie it to the earlier alert. This alert is related to alert ID. Might be like, hey, which one was it? So we can hit back. We're looking for the DE, so 1001. So when I go over here, right, paste. So now we're starting to see the same correspondence. Well, because they might just be in an email chain talking back and forth, and whatnot. So suspicious attachments found in an email. So suspicious attachments found in the email. Investigate further, determine if it's malicious. So we have at 412, the subject is important pending invoice. Invoice is spelled incorrectly. Red flag right there. From sender John at hatmakereurope.xyz. XYZ is not a very trustworthy domain. There's an attachment. We finally got an attachment. It says important invoice tac February.zip. Okay, we can actually work with this. All right. Boom. This room said it's 15 minutes. Really, it's 15 minutes probably regarding this guy right here. Because we can even look. This is no attachment, whatever. It's from a domain. Here's a reply to one. Again, high level domain, no attachments or anything. It's online. Online. Here is .xyz, which not super trustworthy. I'm trying to think. Did we have one earlier at .xyz? I don't think so. But anyway, let's focus on this guy right here. We are gonna go ahead and assign to ourselves. So it has this right here. So it does have this. Boom. It's an invoice.pdf. Um, and it's a shortcut. That's not a PDF, right? So invoice is spelled wrong .pdf, but it's actually this format right here .lnk. So or capital INK. I think it's just it's a link. All right. So this red flag should be firing off right now. They should. If you are in an actual C environment, you will have additional tools to then, make sure that this is a good to go or not good to go file. It could be as simple as I hope you have a little bit more, but you know, antivirus scanning. So is Defender popping off on it? Because uh, you can right click and like go to Defender if it's set up, and then scan it. Virus total. You can upload files to virus total, um, depending on your licenses and stuff. You can do even malwarebytes, like just see if this is legitimate or not. We're gonna err on the side of caution here because everything so far is shining out red flags. We can go off that right there. What we're going to do is we are going to go into our seam and go a little bit more. All right, so we know Michael got it. Let me go back into documentation, company info. Michael is the CEO. Okay, that's even scarier. He's on 3450. All right, so let's go up here. You notice we probably have even more. Host name 3450 has 11 pieces of activity. We're gonna go. Let's see what time was this alert? It was at 412. So let's see what's going on at 412. We have a decent amount of activity after it. Um, so we have registry values being set. We have Outlook. All right, so Outlook has boom pending invoice. It created a file. Alrighty, that's fine. File created. File created. So these are all related. Sysmon created. Okay, custom property, Outlook, pending invoice, Outlook, custom property. All right, we then have this going off, which is trustedinstaller.exe. Run my services, Outlook. We have PowerShell running as well after. So good amount of activity regarding Outlook. Then we have PowerShell doing a DNS query, PowerShell reaching out to here. So it's always useful to take notes on what is pertinent information. Explorer starts launching. Okay, so we are doing. Oh, hey, look at this. We have this command right here from PowerShell, and it's downloading from GitHub PowerCat, and it's connecting to that address that we just kind of copied right there. So we know bad things are going on. So at 4:33, um, that's good. Okay, it downloaded even more. Okay, so it's creating files now. So it reached back. All right, so all at 433, 433. All right, boom, it's running. So 433, it's gaining it's now trying to get information about the computer. So they probably got in, they're getting information, they are figuring out what the account is. So who am I? Who am I? Um, let's see, we're creating processes, but this now, wait, so we're on this host name, still on this host name. We're now working out, okay, they're on the desktop, Internet Explorer, launching that, boom, net1 user. Okay, so we have a good amount of information here. We can go through, hey, they download Power View as well. All right, so that's at 434 is Power View. Okay, so bam, they're running, they have a download called exfiltration. They're they're grabbing financial records. They're grabbing a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and escalate this. Um, more. Okay, we've seen a lot. Alrighty, let's try to put into words everything that we just found. So writing the case for true positive. All right, so let's start off. The alert ID 107 regarding a suspicious attachment found in email was found to be a true positive. Employee Michael Ascot received a malicious attachment. Oh, this is so horrible. This is so horrible. Received a malicious attachment. Let's see, called important invoice. You can always copy and paste this type of stuff. All right, you don't have to struggle bus it like I am right here. Let's zip from, let's do boom, no, from bam. One thing that we didn't do is we didn't put this into virus total. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. It's fine, but community, TryHackMe is trying to hat us up. The community is saying no. um, let's see, so let's do XYZ domain. Public, okay. Issues. Anti-phishing working groups say that XYZ domain shop domains were in the top 5 for malicious domain registries. So due to these instances, malware scans, phishing, multiply, anti-malware vendors are blacklisting many XYZ domains. All right, that's good to know. So let's go into, boom. The sender is from a malicious XYZ domain. First off, recommending blacklisting all entries from the XYZ top level domain as is recommended by anti-phishing working group. As XYZ domains are commonly related to bad actors. Alrighty, so boom, we have the email portion. We didn't put time. We need to put time. So who, what, where, when, why, how, recommendations. All right. So at 4:12 p.m. The attachment itself, when extracted, contained a file named invoice, spelled wrong, invoice.pdf, but the file type is a LNK associated with shortcuts. Around 4:22 p.m. No, was it 33 p.m.? Michael clicked on the file, which caused several malicious processes to begin executing. Initial DNS calls to were observed on his workstation. Which one is he? We are Win 3450. Was followed by Powershell command reaching out to run PowerCat. Going back to that address. Let's see. So let's go on Google really quick. What's a good definition for PowerCat? PowerCat. What is what is PowerCat? Utility rule, similar to Netcat. So it can which is okay. So similar to Netcat, and you can reverse shell. Creating reverse shells. Sorry, I'm not super talking right now. I'm just trying to get through this. I know it's been a long video. I know this right here is going to be a long post for this. Boom. Additional commands were seen on the workstation, such as running system info and who am I, which is associated with typical initial recon on a workstation, trying to achieve lateral movement or exfil. Let's see. PowerView.ps1 was observed in the running was observed to be ran, recommending adding blocks via app locker, whatever it may be for PowerView and PowerCat, as neither are approved in the environment. All right, so I ran a lot, But I want to emphasize how many points come just from this. Alrighty, this is the meat and potatoes of how you're going to be gain points. You can identify everything correctly. You can go through, get all the false positives, identify the true positives, and it will end. And then you'll be like, why'd I get such a low score? And it's because you didn't include everything that the AI is looking for, which is who? Michael. What? Clicked on a bad malicious attachment that then started running bad processes. Let's see, who, what, why? Why is all this going on? Because it clicked on it. All right, like where. So we have we got DNS addresses with ports, or I'm sorry, we got the DNS entries regarding resolving to this URL, whatever the hell, this connection. All right. So here we're just covering our butts. All right. So who, what, where, when, why. How did they do it? Well, here's this file. It's PDF. It's a link. It's actually a link. It went out. It then made calls. It then ran. It got PowerCat running, and then once they got in, then they started running initial reconnaissance stuff, trying to see who they were, and then they download PowerView to get a little bit more. I know I spelled that wrong, okay, but then also include the recommendations. Always include recommendations. I don't know why. The AI really, really likes that. And so we're going to close this out. We're almost at an hour now. But does this alert require escalation? Yes, it does, because we need to go from our level of like tier 1 up to tier 2. Maybe they're going to isolate the machine. That that could be something. So immediate recommendation. Oh god. I cannot spell right now, but suggesting workstation, what was it? When 3450 be isolated from the network immediately. All right, just another suggestion. Isolate it if you guys have that ability, so that the bad actor here cannot just start moving laterally. I don't know how their network's set up and whatnot, but we're going to go ahead and submit that. And there we go. When we do that, remember, the whole objective was simply identifying the true positive. And now it will start to grade us, okay? And it gives you all these statistics and things. Like, initially, I think the SOC Simulator was marketed explicitly for teams so that they can, practice, get up to speed, and get shorter closure times and become more efficient. All right. So, in my group, right, first, all right, we got 375 points, so we got plus 20 points. So you passed scenario by identifying all true positive, which was the one, but your MTTR and dwell time were longer than average. I was talking to you guys. Cool. The true positive rate was below 100%, whereas in previous runs, okay, considering improving your speed, especially with phishing alerts, which took longer to resolve. So that's because I had I did a previous run of this. That way I could give you guys a little bit of a better guide, all right? You notice we go through here. So true positives. So the overall analysis. This is kind of a good key. We're going to go into this where we'll pick out what it liked and what it didn't. So your reports provide a detailed account of incident progression, effectively covering who and what aspects by specifying the involved parties and actions taken. However, there's room for improvement by clarifying the why behind the recommendations and the potential impact, which could enhance understanding and actionability. Additionally, while you provide timestamps expanding on the when in terms of sequence and urgency can help prioritize responses more effectively, keep striving to ensure each aspect is thoroughly addressed to enhance comprehensiveness and clarity. So we have this alert. We know what it is. It took 17 minutes. Let's view the analysis. So your incident classification is worth 10 points. So you could say it's a false positive, not get the 10 points, and still be all right. Does alert require escalation? I don't know. Did I put it wrong? Whatever. I felt like it did. So here's our thing. So report analysis, which we got 45 out of 60 points. So doing good. You can get, I mean, we wrote all this and we got 45 out of 60. So misclassification of it, whatever. But your report analysis goes and provides a solid analysis of the security incidents concerning the suspicious email attachment. You pinpoint the source domain correctly and highlight the technical aspects of the malicious file's functionality, particularly its association with shortcut files and PowerShell execution. It's also good to see your detailed explanation of the use of PowerCat as a reverse shell tool and mentioning other tools like PowerView. However, to enhance the quality of your report, try to include additional context, such as highlighting the use of urgent or persuasive language in the email's subject, which they did have. Um, that email topic was right in line with most phishing things where they're trying to hit you on urgency. I did not point that out. Um, so I know next time I will. And what I do here is I do copy and paste these and I'm keeping a log so I know what it's actually asking for. So that when I take the exam, I know what gets a good grade. It's a new system. There's not a lot of, hey, this is exactly what it's looking for. Each company that has exams typically has its own type of systems going on. But let's get back to it. All right. So you also did not specifically mention the download action by the user Michael, which could be clarified more explicitly in your report, uncovering the 5 Ws, who is well identified, what and how are partially covered with great detail on the technical execution tools used, when is included in the timeline of events, where it could be expanded to mention the network segments in question, and why it wasn't explicitly said in terms of the attacker's intent or goal. Overall, this is a comprehensive analysis with the room for slight improvements in narrative detail, but very strong on technical explanation. It is true. The things that it's asking for, I did not cover fully to an extent. So that's something for the exam that I will work on. In your real life um, role in the SOC, you guys will have templates. You guys will have kind of a baseline of what's expected, especially if you're tier 1 sending up to tier 2. The tier 2 team probably does not need the information as to, well, there was an urgency in the email subject. You know, what they care about is it got clicked and it's running. How do we stop this? All right, how do we initially contain it? Then going through their triage, going through their steps, their playbooks, and everything. I'm not expecting a tier 1 person to give me an entire essay. I'm expecting them to know what is relevant information in order for the next actions to properly get done efficiently. All right. For the case of this exam, though, write out, overly write out, overly give it what it wants to hear. All right, because it's the exam's a couple $100. You get one free retake. All right, so cool. So this was 70 points right here. It did say X for escalation. I thought that I clicked X escalation, but maybe I clicked the wrong one. I don't know. These guys down here. So when we're viewing these are 5 points. Instant classification, 5 points. It doesn't even go into the rules or the explanation. 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, 5 points, 70 points. So you could close 14 alerts, or you can identify 14 of these as false positives, and that is worth the amount that this one positive will give you. All right. So that's why I was like, spend more time on the true positive. Now, I did not get the full 60 points. We know what I needed to hit on. If you were going through that, figure out what you would add to get to 60. Or if you've done this, what did you get? Because my first time, I think I only got like 15. What I did for that was I laid out a timeline with bullet points saying, you know, this workstation, this user, this ran, this ran, this ran, then this ran. Obviously, we want to block this, we want to stop this escalating to tier two. And it ripped me apart. But honestly, the report analysis on that was it was way shorter. It was just like, you just didn't include what we're looking for. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what you guys are actually looking for. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope for those of you that are going forward to take the exam, you guys have a better understanding of what it is asking for. All right. I've seen another video where, you run through the question portions. There's no complaints on that. The SOC simulators, people were wondering, well, why, like, I identified stuff right. Why was I not getting the points? And it's because of this. A good portion of it is tied to what you're writing. All right. So I wish you guys the best. There's 5 um, simulator, whatever simulations. I'll be going through those. All right. I'm going to focus on those because I feel that it's more helpful for everybody to do that. And then we'll get back into the normal modules. We'll probably hit the Splunk module off first, or if I get stuck on one, then we will hop over into the relevant modules there to learn a little bit more. But sorry for such a long video. I hope it's helpful. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Laters.